In 1989, Disney decided they needed to have an entertainment district that appealed to a younger audience, was a little bit more fun and upbeat. So that's when they created Pleasure Island.
Come celebrate New Year's Eve tonight and every night on Pleasure Island. An entire island featuring 6 nightclubs and a variety of entertainment, from music and dancing to stage shows and comedy. And every night is a once-in-a-lifetime New Year's Eve celebration that spills out onto the streets. Make a night of it on Pleasure Island, near the Disney Village.
Happy New Year! It's New Year's Eve every night of the year at Pleasure Island, and you're invited tonight to the biggest, most spectacular street party ever. Begin your New Year's Eve celebration early in the evening at Mannequin's Dance Palace, the hottest contemporary music club in the country. Then check out the classic live rock music at Zephyr Rock and Roll Beach Club, and the heel-kicking live country music at the Neon Armadillo Music Saloon. For an underground environment, Cage is the place for alternative music and dance. Then get ready to supply the laughs for stand-up comics and a spoof on the Disney Vacation Experience at the Comedy Warehouse. But save some time for the Adventurers Club, where anything can happen, and does. Next, it's your turn to be a star. It's great fun to stop by Superstar Studios and lip-sync your favorite hit for your very own video creation. At Front Page, pose for the cover of a popular magazine. As the evening progresses, the countdown to New Year's Eve begins. Live music roars louder and faster from the west end of Pleasure Island until it's New Year's Eve. Fireworks light the night with sizzling streams of color as searchlights catch confetti raining from the sky. Dancers perform on rooftops, and inside each nightclub, another unique party rages at the stroke of New Year's Eve. Inside or out, the party's incredible. It's cosmic. It's on. This party animal island is also studded with unique shops where you can find the perfect bauble or exquisite gift. And it's a great place for dinner. You can enjoy Northern Italian specialties at the Portobello Yacht Club and Great American Barbecue at the Fireworks Factory.
Pleasure Island was this nighttime shopping, dining, and entertainment district that extended out behind me. The entrance to it was right here at the corner of where the paddlefish is, kind of over here, and went around over behind me into that area. We'll take a walk back there and take a look, but kind of in this area is where the entrance was. The parking lot used to extend out back behind where this fountain is here, and over toward, I think you can see the Rainforest Cafe off in the distance there. But it extended off that way, so you had the whole thing laid out to the parking lot. You can come up and you can come in here. One of the interesting things that you may have noticed when you came up here, the 2 ticket booths they had were actually train cars from the Walt Disney World Fort Wilderness Railroad. So they actually brought them over, had them use as ticket booths at the entrance. It was very cute and very clever. So we'll take a walk around, we'll look at some things. A lot of things have changed. Not much looks the same anymore. It looks very different from the way it used to. And so this was the main entrance into the place that was known as Pleasure Island. So on the left here, this building at one point in time was a 2-story building. I guess it still is. It was called Mannequin's, and it was a dance club. And over on the right was the Fireworks Factory, where they had a number of different dishes that they serve and some other things that they do. And one of the famous things was on the top of this building, there was the Jessica Rabbit neon lit up, moving her leg statue. It was really pretty amazing. I guess it was a 2-dimensional thing, not a statue. But it was on the top of this building. I'm trying to remember exactly where it was. I think it was here, I want to say, kind of in this spot that you saw her. There was a beach theme club over here. And then on the left was another place that I can't remember now. I think this might have all been shopping here. During the day, they would leave the Pleasure Island area open for shopping. People could come in and shop and do some different things. I remember seeing some of the things that they had open here, and you know, they had like produce your own record studio and things like that. And on the right, there was more entertainment. There was some open air entertainment out here as well. So there was a lot of things going on. It was always kind of fun. This is always kind of a good time out here. And you come up this way, Maybe more things up here. Let's see, what else is up here? On the left up in here, probably where Santa is, was a something called The Cage. It was this 80s themed club, and it was really fun. That was one of the more fun places that I used to go. Next to it, I think, maybe on this side, was the 8 Tracks, which was a 70s themed club. There were some other shops and things on the right. Can't remember what was here. But up around here-ish, somewhere, I guess where the pole is, there was the infamous Adventurers Club. And on the left was the Comedy Warehouse over in this area. And now we're at the end where the stage was. And this is where the stage existed, where they do the nightly entertainment. They'd have a lot of things going on. There were performances that would be out here and different people performing. Always kind of interesting to be out here every night was New Year's Eve. So you'd see somebody performing up on the stage right here.
There's a single cover charge for nightclubs and the New Year's Eve celebration beginning at 7 p.m. And you must be 18 or older to attend. There's no charge or age restriction for admission to Pleasure Island restaurants day or night. Parking is free, and for resort guests, so is the use of the Walt Disney World transportation system. Don't miss this New Year's Eve happening every night. It's more than a party, it's an event.
The problem was, you had this relationship here where you had Pleasure Island, which was in this area. You had the Disney Village Marketplace, which at some point got rethemed to Downtown Disney to make it a little more homey in a way. And then you had them separated. This was an admission part at night. So you had a section here where people had to pay to get in, and then you had the free part down at Downtown Disney. Then at some point, Disney made the decision to actually build something called the West Side, where they put La Nuba and the Disney Quest and a couple of other shops and restaurants to try to take in some of the things that were missing from other areas. And they were trying to draw people in from Orlando. So sometime in the late 90s, they decided they wanted to bring them in as well to actually create more of a shopping district. Problem was, they weren't connected. So you had Downtown Disney, Pleasure Island, which was paid, and then the West Side. And the West Side and Downtown Disney were both free. So how did you connect them? So what they did is they actually built this bridge, and the bridge allowed the West Side to connect to Pleasure Island. But what they also did is underneath the bridge, they built a pathway that went around and went on the outside of Pleasure Island, so that way you didn't have to pay to go through Pleasure Island to get to the West Side. Remember, parking was only in the area that's kind of over my shoulder here. There was 2 surface lots. So the only way you could get there was to actually come in and go around and go under. Then at some point, Pleasure Island became a problem. The problem with Pleasure Island was it was a victim of its own success. In the late 1980s, it made a lot of sense. In the early 1990s, it made a lot of sense. It was a lot of fun for guests who were staying here to come over and come out and go out on the town. I remember the commercials, they'd go out on the town. And they'd come out and they'd have some fun. But then more high schoolers started coming here, and more kids started coming here, and more immature people, I'll say. And there was a couple of fights that happened on the property. There was a couple of fights that happened over here in the parking lot, and a couple of fights that were happening around here. And it really didn't become family friendly. They were serving alcohol, which always was a problem because people would get in their cars and drive home. A lot more locals came here than people who came on vacation. So it became sort of a liability for Disney to keep it up. And honestly, I don't know that it was making them enough money to really warrant keeping it open the way it was. So at some point, they decided to close Pleasure Island and just make it a shopping district, and add it into Downtown Disney, and then add the West Side into Downtown Disney too, to make sure that it wasn't confusing. So it all became Downtown Disney. But they weren't drawing the way they wanted to, so ultimately they made a decision to make it a high-end retail shop and call it Disney Springs. So if you walk around in the main Disney Springs area, the added part, those are all pretty high-end retail shops. It's not the same as what Downtown Disney was at some point. And of course, they had to create more parking, so you'll see parking garages out here now, like that, and there's another one on the other side. And the entertainment mix changes quite a lot too as a result of that. So that's the way it goes. So that's the story of Pleasure Island, the West Side, and Downtown Disney becoming Disney Springs.